Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So for today's video, I am going to be picking my starters for the 2021 NBA All-Star Game. So before we get going on this, man, straight up, I need you guys to hit that like button on this, man, because I know for a fact there are going to be people up in here that are going to get, insulted and dislike the video for no reason. But I just wanted to put this across, man, before I start picking my players. There is more than 10 good players in the NBA. There's so many players that you can make a case for starting, but for one, we're limited not only by conference, but also by position. So, I mean, there is going to be somebody that's just this fantastic player that is not going to make my all-star starters just simply because there's so much talent out there. And, if it's like, if I would have went and picked that guy, then there would have been other people getting mad that I didn't pick the guy that I left out. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys don't mind hitting that like button, I really need that support on this video here, man. Because, people will be out there to get me and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, don't take offense to it. This is not me making a statement. This is me just picking guys that I think are kind of deserving of it. And with that being said, there's more assets in the NBA than there are positions in the NBA All-Star Game as far as starters go, right? So, alrighty, if you guys want to give me your starters in the comments, I'll be very curious to read those, by the way, so yeah, feel free to do that. But I am going to be starting with the Eastern Conference, man. We start with the Eastern Conference, and we're going to go ahead and start with the guards. So my number one guard that I think has to make the All-Star starters is actually going to be Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, to me, has been, in my opinion, the best player on the Boston Celtics this season. That's nothing against Jayson Tatum. Tatum's also been fantastic, but Jaylen Brown, he's also played more games. But if you look at like his per numbers and stuff like that, they're better than Jayson Tatum's this season. His scoring's up, efficiency's up. This kid is looking like a superstar player on the Celtics and a big reason for their success. So I think he's the number one that has to go as far as the guards. He's been, in my opinion, man, the best guard in the conference. So yeah, I have nothing against that. So yeah, we got Jaylen Brown as the starter. Now you look at the other guard position, man, this is where it gets a little bit tricky out here. It's definitely not going to be an easy pick right here. Now I think a lot of people, their first thought is going to be instantly to go towards James Harden. Honestly, I don't really think James Harden deserves to be a starter for the Eastern Conference, just because, I mean, any success was either, seasons past or being on the Western Conference this season. But even this year, it's like he's had good games, but has he had better games out east since he's been on the Nets and some of these other guys? And I don't really think that is the case here, man. It's tough though. I mean, there's, like, for me, just based off of like somebody that I really think's been great, I would say maybe like a Colin Sexton. But I think Colin Sexton, just him making the All-Star team, will probably be the big time step for him this season. So I don't think Colin Sexton gets that spot, but that's not to say he doesn't deserve it. A lot of these guys definitely deserve it. Zach LaVine's been fantastic for Chicago Bulls. I look at Kyrie Irving too. Kyrie Irving's been a lot of fun, but of course he has missed quite a few games. Trae Young is putting up just as good of numbers as last season. He was the starter last year. His turnovers are down a little bit. I think his scoring's down by a few points per game, but nothing absolutely crazy. So that he's definitely a player to consider. And of course you got Bradley Beal. So Bradley Beal got snubbed from it last year. He didn't even make the team. Now, I do realize the Washington Wizards are a bad team, so is it just a case of Bradley Beal putting up, good numbers on a bad team? Sure, to an extent, but like last year, the Hawks were not a very good team, and that's kind of why Trae Young got in there. So I think at that point, it's okay. Like when you pick your all-star starters, it has to be a mix not only between how our players are doing, but also their situation. But there's just some cases where just guys are putting up so crazy of numbers, it's really hard to pass up on him. And Bradley Beal has been like the best shooting guard in the NBA this season. He's been fantastic. And I guess I did say Jaylen Brown, as far as like picking him as like my number one guard, but I'm putting into consideration he's been like a top 3 or 4 shooting guard, but also on a really good team. So I think this pick right here, I'm kind of going based, solely off stats. I'm going to give it to Bradley Beal. He suffered through a lot so far here on the Washington Wizards. It's not been a great situation, but it doesn't take away for the crazy numbers, man, putting the team on his back. And think about it this way. If it was LeBron James on the Washington Wizards and they were still playing that bad, then would he still make the All-Star team, put up those numbers? Yes, he would. So, I know Beal isn't like always the most household name out there, but he still is putting up these crazy numbers. So you can't get blinded by the name itself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about, like, or if it was like James Harden doing it on the Washington Wizards, would you vote for him? Yes, you would. So I think Beal, it's okay. I know the Wizards are not winning games, but it's far from Beal's fault. He might not even be in the Eastern Conference by the time the All-Star game happens, so maybe I'll have to redo this video. Okay, so let's look at the front court players. I'm pretty good with this backcourt. I'm pretty good with it, man. I can already see the net fans getting kind of mad between like Kyrie and James Harden, but James, most of the season spent on the West. Kyrie Irving missed quite a few games. Okay, so yeah. And Trae Young, Trae Young, I could have been argued about too, and you know, a few other guys. But for the front court, this should be, it's not going to be easy, man. I have totally forgot that Giannis existed. I have totally, okay, this is, maybe it is easy. Maybe I'm making it more difficult than it needs to be. I was fully getting ready to put Sabonis in as an all-star starter. I was fully ready to do that. But now I'm looking at some of these other guys, and I don't think I can. Sabonis has been really good this season, man. I feel so bad. That's one of the reasons I was going to do the East first. I was like, I'm going to put Sabonis on it, and people are going to get mad and stuff, but it's all good because I can back it up. Now I can't. I simply can't. Based off looking at this, I already know which three I'm going to go with. And I have justification for it. But just know, guys, I planned on putting Sabonis in here, and then I forgot who was in the NBA. Number one has to be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has been so amazing. I'm gonna nickname him Achilles, and not Achilles like the Achilles injury, the Achilles like the damn god. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seen the movie Troy before, or it's like Greek mythology or whatever. Durant, what he has been doing number-wise is something we've really never seen before. The amount of players that have like fallen off or whatever because of major injuries, like an Achilles injury, outweighs, and just the fact it's like you've never really got anybody that's been like close to this production pre that type of injury. Like Durant is looking as good as ever, man. So you got to go with Kevin Durant. Next up, I am going to be going with Joel Embiid. He's a big reason for the 76ers success this season. His defense is, you know, right up there like always. Stat-wise, 28 points, 11 rebounds per game. The team is definitely not the same when he's not playing. He's the MVP of that team, and you could very well make a case for the MVP of the season, man. Now, I'm leaning kind of closer towards like a Kevin Durant or somebody like that right now, but Joel Embiid definitely deserves to make the All-Star team as a starter this season. And I think for the most part, he's been pretty healthy too. I might have missed a few games, but it's definitely not been as bad as years past. Also considering the condensed season and back-to-backs and stuff like that. So we got one more spot out here, man. Okay, so at this point, you know, I was thinking Sabonis, but I forgot Giannis existed. And of course, you have Jayson Tatum. Jeremy Grant's cool. He's not going to be a starter. The Pistons are a really bad team. He's putting up really good numbers, but I think there's a chance he still makes it. Gordon Hayward's been really good for the Charlotte Hornets too, but I wouldn't really say he's been on like the level of like a Giannis, Jayson Tatum, or Sabonis. It comes down to Giannis and Tatum. And like I was saying, Tatum, this kid is so good. This kid is absolutely fantastic. I don't think he's a better player than Giannis, man. I think we can all kind of agree on that. I know Celtic fans will probably kind of like juice up a little bit, but you know, you already got Jaylen Brown starting, and it just comes down to there's so many great players in the NBA. You know, it'd be a little selfish to have two Celtics as the starters. I'm not saying that they don't deserve. I'm not saying Tatum doesn't deserve it, but you put Giannis next to Tatum. I think a lot of people are taking Giannis. Tatum has so many great things about him. I don't think he's far off from Giannis, but I mean, he was also, you know, the MVP last season and stuff, so I think it's fair to say Giannis. I don't think anybody can get too mad about that as far as this front court. Now, you might want to say, like, Tatum over Joel Embiid, but I'm just saying, Celtic fans, you already have Jaylen Brown as one of my starters, so I cannot reward two Celtic players in the starting lineup as much as he may deserve it. I think Giannis deserves it just a little bit more, man. I think people should probably be okay with that. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and select him, and I think that's pretty solid. I like that for a starting five, man. Straight up. Let me look at the guards one more time. You know, I'm not trying to remove Beal on purpose, but same case with Harden and Kyrie, where it's like, you know, Durant's over there, so I can't really reward the Nets with two starters. Not to mention both those guys have been absent from the team quite a bit. The only guys that I'm really kind of being like, maybe I could choose over Bradley Beal would be Trae Young, possibly a Zach LaVine, but not over Bradley Beal because, like, they're winning situation. Like, they're winning games, you know, a few games, stuff like that, but nothing crazy. But it's kind of the same case with Trae Young. And then Colin Sexton, Cavs have been good, but not as great as they started the season. So it's not like I'm passing up on any, like, number one or number two seed guys by not putting these three guys on there. So you default to stats, Bradley Beal. Kyrie James, full season, I would have picked either one of you guys. But yeah, that's how we're going to have it, man. So now we get to the Western Conference. I have a feeling the West is going to be a little bit easier, I think. But at the same time, Giannis popped out of nowhere. I forgot he existed in the NBA. So we are going to go ahead and start with the front court this time. And right away, LeBron James. Pretty easy pick right there. LeBron is like 90, and he's playing like he's damn like 19 again. He's having 40-point games and stuff like that. And just, yeah, it's not the All-Star game without LeBron James, man. Straight up. He's going to be in the All-Star game till he's 40. And actually, until he retires, that might be a damn 50 at this point. But it was kind of funny because just like, I don't know why, but I think just me assuming that LeBron needs to be in it, it had me thinking about, like, what was it, 2017 when Zaza Pachulia got voted in? I don't know why, I was just thinking about that. But yeah, we got LeBron on there. Okay, next up, I am going to be going with Nikola Jokic. So, Joel Embiid, I think, has been the best center in the NBA this season, but Jokic is like, it's literally like that, man. Like, they're so close. Like it could be like 1 or 2 games and you can flip those 2 around, but Jokic has been just as good as any center in the NBA. Definitely him and Joel Embiid, it's always a battle for number 1, number 2. Now, when those guys play each other, it's different how they match up and stuff, but I'm talking about the overall generality of the NBA. Jokic definitely deserves to be a starter. For the other front court position, or the last one, I should say, there's some good choices. I'm definitely leaning towards Kawhi Leonard. You got Anthony Davis, who's available, but, I think about like this. AD is great. He's averaging 22 points, 4 assists, 9 rebounds. I'm sure he's good as always on defense. He is the number 2 on the Lakers. Kawhi is the number 1 on the Clippers. Clippers are a great team this season. Once again, coming down to it's hard for me to put 2 players on the same team when there's so much just good, like, diversity as far as talent goes in the NBA. So, love Anthony Davis, but I'm going to give it to Kawhi Leonard. So, yeah, once again, Laker fans, don't get too upset. Y'all got LeBron in there, okay? AD's still going to be on it, as a 6-man or whatever. But I think this is pretty fair. And I think it's fair to say, how great Jokic has been for the for the Nuggets. Now, from a win-loss standpoint, yeah, the Lakers have been a better team and stuff. So maybe you could argue AD over Jokic just based off that reason. But I said the Nuggets, them not being like number 1 seed or whatever is not Jokic's fault in this case. I think it's a lack of just like depth and stuff like that at times. And missing Jeremy Grant, guys. Missing Jeremy Grant. Okay, so now we got the 2 guards for the conference. This is going to be a little tough. I might have a bit of a shocking answer right here. Number 1, I'm going to go with Steph Curry. I mean, look at Curry, man, right? So inspirational. Yeah, he's back. He's going to be going for that MVP award. He's been amazing. So I think Curry's pretty easy. And now you got to look at the other guard spot. And this is where I am going to struggle big time. And I am for sure probably going to upset somebody. You have Damian Lillard putting up great numbers. Portland has not been a great team this season by any stretch of the imagination. Luka Doncic putting up great numbers. Nearly a triple-double. And the Mavericks have been like fine. I mean, Luka's definitely been taking on a big, huge workload. And then the third guy that I'm kind of struggling with that I feel like just based off how they're doing, Donovan Mitchell. Utah Jazz, number 1 team in the conference. Big part of that is Donovan Mitchell. And Rudy Gobert's been great too. And I just feel like this need to reward the Jazz for that. And but that's the thing though. It's like, should I do that? Is that how All-Star games work? Should I reward Donovan Mitchell's team by allowing him to be a starter? I think I should. I really think I should. Now, if you give me Damian, Luka, or Mitchell, out of all 3 of those guys, start, bench, cut, probably starting Luka, benching Damian, and cutting Donovan Mitchell. I'll probably just offend somebody saying that. But man, I feel the need to reward him. And I really like Luka. I really like Damian. I have nothing against either one of these players. And I'm going to get roasted for this. This will probably be my biggest roasting of the video. And you know what, man? I am open to it. Roast me. But I'm playing my respect towards Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz, guys, for my starting 5 for each conference. And I like it. I really like the East. Really, I like both conferences. The only part for that I'm really struggling with or not really struggling with, but I can really be probably persuaded on is this guard position and this guard position. But beyond that, man, I feel like I nailed it. So, Yeah, I'm not going to submit this because I don't think I'm logged into my NBA account, and I don't really care. I just wanted to pick my starters. So let me know in the comment section below, man. Totally open to Luka or Damian being the starter over here. Totally open to Trae Young or even James Harden being the starter over here, man. But, you know, front court, as much as I want to put Sabonis as one of these, all three of these guys are better than Sabonis. I guess maybe you could say Giannis is taking a little bit of a step back this season, but not really. Not really. Not to the point where we're comparing Sabonis and Giannis to each other. It's like, Giannis is better. Let's be honest about it. So let's be honest, Giannis, okay? That's all we got, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe, if you're new to the channel, and peace out, my friends.